What's going on, YouTube, and welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte, and today we're going to be doing a quick video to take a look at the Vegas Golden Knights, as the Vegas Golden Knights find themselves with 39 points, first place in the Pacific Division, and a 6-point lead over the second place Los Angeles Kings. Where are the Golden Knights finding their success right now? They're playing well, they're finding ways to get wins, even when it looks a little bit difficult, but that's the world of the sport of hockey. You find ways to win even when things look a little bit rough. Maybe you have to come back in a game or two and you have to face some adversity. And the Golden Knights have been able to do that. But let's be honest, is this really that surprising? The Vegas Golden Knights are one of those teams that they just have that winning culture, the winning pedigree there. They recently won a Stanley Cup in the past 5 years. They obviously know how to win. And I think the problem with the Golden Knights the last maybe 2 years has been the fact that maybe they needed a little bit of a reset after that championship, and they had a lot of injuries. I mean, Mark Stone has missed a significant amount of hockey the last couple years. The goaltending has been kind of off and on over the last couple years, just not a lot of consistency. I think they're really finding that consistent goaltending right now, which that and the combination of less injuries is really helping this team out. Their defense looks phenomenal, looks a lot better than it has over the last maybe 2 years. And like I said, I think because of the lack of depth there, maybe Pietrangelo was maybe doing more work than he should have been doing, and it was hurting his game. And I think things are just a little bit, it's more kumbaya right now with the Vegas Golden Knights. So looking at their record, 18-7-3. Currently on a 3-game winning streak, and really the month of November was pretty kind to the Vegas Golden Knights. And you look at their last couple games, they've had some pretty impressive victories. They had a 6-2 victory over the Montreal Canadiens, 4-2 win over Utah. They also most recently are on a 3-game winning streak, a 1-0 victory over the Oilers, a 4-1 victory over the Anaheim Ducks, and a 3-2 victory over the Dallas Stars. So a lot of different scores there, and that's kind of what I talked about here in the beginning of the video. It's finding ways to win in different ways. They're able to adapt. They can play however you want to play. And I think that's what makes this type of team. There isn't one way to try to beat the Golden Knights, because there's so many different layers to this team that you really have to find the kinks in the armor, pun intended there. This is a tough team to beat. And when they're scoring the goals that they're scoring right now, their goals for, which is 99 in the league, 99 goals this season, which is 4th best in the league. Their goals against is a little bit higher, which is something they probably would like to bring down a little bit. They've given up the 19th. They're 19th in the league for goals against, so you'd probably like to bring that down just a little bit. And they do have a couple of injuries, but nothing super significant. So you're without Ben Hutton and Zach Whitecloud. It seems like Zach Whitecloud's probably pretty close to coming back. Same thing for Ben Hutton. So those guys have been out for the last 2 weeks. They're probably pretty close to coming back. The power play, penalty kill, both around league average, which is good. The power play is one of the top in the league, I will say that, but their penalty kill a little more closer to league average. So the defense has its moments, but they're scoring goals to the point where it doesn't really matter. If they're giving up 1 or 2 goals a game, they're scoring 4 or 5. Point leaders, no real surprise here. Jack Eichel, 39 points in 28 games. He is on fire this year. He's playing super, super well. Ivan Barbashev is right there as well. That was such a good pickup for the Golden Knights. And everybody seems to forget Ivan Barbashev and that move with the Blues a couple years ago. I really wish the Islanders would have picked him up during that, but it is what it is. That's a great contract, though. Barbashev, that's a guy that they're pretty happy with right now. Shea Theodore, same thing. Mark Stone, Tomas Hertl definitely had a tough start with the Golden Knights. He's kind of rounding back into form. Pavel Dorofeyev is playing super well. He's leading the team in goals right now. He's got 12 goals this season, which is awesome. So we're seeing some of the youth coming into Vegas, finding ways to contribute. Alexander Holtz, Tanner Pearson, William Karlsson, Noah Hannafin, all those guys, they're all producing in one shape or form. And what I think is interesting about the Golden Knights, too, is, like I said, we talked about the goalies earlier on today. The goaltending has had its moments still. So even though they're playing better than they were, and there's maybe at least more consistency, and they're not getting injured every other game, the goaltending hasn't been great from Samsonov. In 10 games, he has an .896 save percentage, a .905 save percentage in 18 games for Adin Hill. So obviously he's their guy. The .900 save percentage, earlier on in the season, that number will probably get better, maybe get closer to a .910 by the end of the season, because as we all know, in the beginning of the season, teams like to give up goals in those first maybe 2 or 3 weeks of the season in October and early November. So things seem to be settling down for a lot of teams at that point. There's still a lot of goals, but maybe not as much as the beginning of the season. So that number's probably going to get closer to a .910 by the end of the year if it stays at its current pace. And like I said, this is a team that they need the big guys to score. Like any team, if you want to be a team that's going to be competing for a championship, winning nightly, consistently winning games, you need your stars to perform. And then every once in a while you get the depth scoring when maybe it's an off night and things just aren't going their way. Well, that's when you get the goal from Tanner Pearson, right? When Dorofeyev can't get on the board. And that's the kind of thing that the Golden Knights have been able to do really since they came into the league. They find ways to win. And as much as we hate maybe some of the things with the Golden Knights and the way they move players in and out constantly, that's the nature of the beast. And we've just talked about the Rangers doing a similar thing. Listen, these are successful franchises. They don't sit on their hands. I'm talking to you, New York Islanders. I'm talking to you, Lou Lamoriello. They're not like the Islanders. They don't sit on their hands and wait for the implosion to happen. They don't watch the train, when it's 500 miles from hitting the end of the train and there's no plans on braking. These teams like to catch it before. They're proactive. They're not reactive, they're proactive. And that's the Golden Knights way. Love it or hate it, here they are. They're right back at the top of the standings in the Pacific. And I could have told you in the beginning of the season, maybe we see a decline in the Golden Knights. If you told me that at the beginning of the year, I would have believed you, because there was kind of the sentiment that maybe this team has fallen off from their ways of their winning championship pedigree, and these guys are just getting older and they're signed to big contracts, but they just aren't able to do it anymore. And they've definitely proved a lot of people, including myself, wrong here. So for the Vegas Golden Knights, I will say I like a lot of things about this team, like I said. And at the end of the day, who cares how you win, because they're finding the ways to get it done. Like I said, the 1-0 victory, that's impressive, because that's the type of game that you're not like the Pittsburgh Penguins did early in the season when you were trying to run up the score and you're winning games 5-3 every night. You don't want to be doing that, because, yeah, the nights that you're scoring 5 goals every game, that's great. But if you're giving up 3 or 4, well, the night that you score 2 and you're still giving up 3 or 4 goals a game, that's how you lose a lot of games. And defense wins championships, as we all know here at Goal Line Hockey. This is a good formula for success right now. And the way Jack Eichel's playing, Pavel Dorofeyev is really kind of an underrated guy right now, and that's why I keep bringing him up, because this is a guy we're going to hear more and more about for the Vegas Golden Knights moving forward. This is a great hockey team, though, and I cannot wait to see what they do this season. It seems like they're going to be able to feast pretty good on that Pacific Division. Just the way this division's playing out, we've got the Kraken, the Sharks, and the Ducks all pretty much at the bottom of the standings, and then from the Edmonton Oilers to the Calgary Flames to the Canucks and Kings, it's going to be a toss-up of who actually makes the playoffs out of that group. But the Golden Knights are definitely in a tier of their own right now in that division. So that's going to do it for today's video, guys. Let me know what you think down below. What do you guys think of the Vegas Golden Knights? Do you think they can find a way to win the division this year? Do you think they'll handle it pretty easily? Or do you think that maybe one of those other teams, maybe the Canucks or the Kings, ends up catching the Vegas Golden Knights by the end of the season? Let me know what you guys think down below. Let me know what you would like to see. Maybe the Vegas Golden Knights add during this season. There's been rumors maybe they could be looking at a guy. We've heard a lot about Tkachuk over the last couple weeks. Maybe Tkachuk is that guy. Who knows? But it's Vegas. You never really know what's going to happen. That's definitely the case for this hockey team. Guys, thank you so much for watching today's video, and I'll see you again next time.